Thank you all very much for coming tonight for the opening of Queer Heroes Northwest. And now I'm Barbara McCullough-Jones, Executive Director of Q Center. And you know, so much of what happens in the LGBTQ movement is about storytelling. And that's really what this project represents, is that we can't forget where we came from, because there's power in building off of that momentum, and that's what we want to share with you throughout this display. Now what I'd like to do is invite all the heroes that are here today to come forward so that we can see who you are, we can meet you, and just give you a chance to say hello.
We all stand on the shoulders of somebody else that's come before us, whether we realize it or not, and somebody will stand on your shoulders. Each and every one of us here is a hero in their own way, just by being out and living your true self.
You all know that I whistle, and that picture is taken from a whistling event in Idaho. I run into a lot of young people, and I'm especially excited about this exhibit going to rural areas. I'm from, my hometown is Heppner, and in Eastern Oregon is pretty conservative, but I think slowly things are changing.
I'm Cecil Prescott, and I'm grateful to be here. I want to thank my parents, first of all, for teaching me to care for others. I also like to thank, as others said, those who went before us. I started working on LGBT issues about 20 years ago around the ballot 9 in 1992. And certain people kept on calling me and asking me to do something more. One of those persons was Bonnie Tinker. And she had that type of personality that just kept on getting on your nerve until you said yes. I want to thank people like Bonnie and ask all of us to continue the good work that we need to do. Thank you.
And I am pleased to be part of this very esteemed group, and I'm proud to say I'm celebrating my 41st year of gay activism. I was very young. And you know, what drives me every day is I still remember what that felt like as a kid, that terror, that fear, that I tried to kill myself. I was terrified. And that fear, I still remember what it feels like. So thanks for all you're doing for the youth, because they're really the ones that, you know, are living out there in fear all the time. So keep up the great work. I love the work you're doing. Thank you.
I'm Reverend Tara Wilkins, and more than ever, people of faith are engaged in our issues and advocating and taking risks and speaking out with the message that we don't have to separate our spirituality from our sexuality, that we can live into the fullness of who we were created to be. And it's an honor to be part of this community and to work with so many amazing people, and I'm just really grateful and humbled.
I'm Marianne Humphrey-Keever, and and I've been involved with the community for many, many years, and I think that carrying the flag really says something about being honored and being a veteran. And I think that I've done a lot with that with a lot of other people. So thank you very much for the honor. It's a great privilege, and I will look like that in a couple of days on the wall. So yes. I like uniforms, so anyway. Thank you.
Well, I'm Reed Vanderberg, and when I first got the email about receiving this nomination, I was really thrilled. I've been part of this community for over 35, almost 40 years now, and I've seen so much change, and I don't think anything like this would have been possible even 20 years ago. So it's really thrilling to be part of the first venture in this direction, and I'm really glad this is going to be portable and able to go to schools and things like that, because I see a lot of hope in the younger generation. Things are just moving so fast in the direction of equality and civil rights. So I'm really thrilled to be here. Thank you.
I'm Lupita Mendez. I work for Bradley Engel House, and I am also very honored to be here and looking at all the stories and everything. And I have to say, it makes me feel very young, and also very inspired, and that I hope to someday accomplish even half the things that most of you all have accomplished in your lives.
I'm Renee LaChance, and I'm one of the founders of Just Out. Well, I'm glad Mary Ann cried before me. That's always the butchies. You know, we started Just Out just to get the word out and to give positive images so that people could feel comfortable coming out. And back in 1983, coming out was a revolutionary act. You know, people were scared to come out. They couldn't come out in their jobs because they could lose their job. They couldn't come out where they lived because they could lose their house. And now we can live where we want and work where we want and love who we want. So,
There's a number of members of PFLAG here, though.
I'm Kristen Knapp. My parents, Charles and Rita, were founders with Susie's parents, Ann and Bill Shepard, of the Portland PFLAG when it was started, before it even affiliated with the national PFLAG. And the story that I think is most telling is the one that Ann Shepard told about how she wanted to put an ad. She was a journalist, or worked for the Oregonian, I think, even, and she wanted to put an ad in the paper so that they could have a support group. And the Oregonian told her, "We can't put an ad like that in. We're a family paper." So,
Yeah, that's great.
so I guess we have come a little ways.
I don't know if it's appropriate now, but I would like to recognize one person here that's not fun, and that's George Nicola.
I just want to say that I've been an activist for 42 years, and few institutions have been as effective as the Q Center. I really strongly ask that you support it because you brought together people in so many different ways. One of the things about the history thing is that so often we talk about the wonderful things that happen in New York and Los Angeles and San Francisco, and I admire those people and I think they should be honored. But thousands of people in Oregon have taken very courageous steps. So I think it's great that the Q Center recognizes that the heroism that gets our rights and our dignity comes from individuals working, ordinary people like us, that work toward a common goal, and that is the dignity and equal rights for our people.
George was very thoughtful and put together a wonderful tireless chronicler of LGBT history. There we go.